What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us today. We're out here on beautiful Oneida Lake, and we're out with the boys. I'm back with Captain Tony Buffa, Eric Wisniewski, Don Birdie up in front. You guys all saw the video here a week and a half ago, where Tony and Paulie and I were out doing a trolling video. And today was supposed to be the follow-up, and we were going to do so we trolled stick baits that first day and had a great day and caught a bunch of fish. Tony wanted to come back out and do another program where it was just we were going to troll worm harnesses. And we talked 2 nights ago, and he's like, "Man," he goes, this worm bite is kind of slacked off. He goes, "Maybe and the water temp had dropped dramatically in the last week and a half." He says, "Maybe we'll do a fall jigging show." Great. We got a couple other guys to come out with us. Paulie wasn't able to make it. And out we came this morning, and we got into them right off the bat.
It was nice. It was a quick chew.
I mean, we could see the marina. It wasn't very far. We were right there. And boy, we boxed 6 or 7 of them fast.
Right away.
Fast. What I will say, the interesting thing is, and you guys have heard me say it 1,000 times, Don's back from vacation, so we're fishing together again. And even when it was just Don and I, Don jigs very, very aggressively. I tend to be more finesse. It doesn't matter what bait. We've caught our fish today on everything you could jig. I mean, blades. Let's see, how many different blades have we run? I run I1s. You guys have been running them too. What were you running? Don's been running a Johnson Thin Fisher in silver and gold. You guys have been running Thin Fishers. We've been running Walleye Nation Creation jigging wrap style baits. I've been running a jigging wrap. I've been running the shiver minnows. I mean, we've caught a lot of fish on a lot of different things today.
And Eric on a stick bait this morning.
Eric was throwing the jerkbait this morning, and started us off. Within second cast. I mean, it all happened real fast. And I guess my point in that, when I say that to everybody, is, so 4 guys, same boat. I think there's only been once or twice where we've all thrown the same bait, and it hasn't mattered. We haven't really dialed in and crushed them today by any means. We saw good pictures. This is our 4th spot.
4th spot.
And we've had a good picture every place we've been.
An excellent picture every place we've been. And some willingness to chew after that crazy early bite, but for the most part, very stubborn.
In the fall, let me ask you a question for everybody. So in the fall, do you find we're much more prone for big weather fronts in the fall? Do you have a weather where you just think to yourself, it's not going to happen today, or the reverse of that, it's going to happen today?
My fall bite is going to happen every day once we get down into that low 50-degree mark. Prior to that, it's on again, off again, here, there. But once it's 53, it's tough for me to go anywhere but east. And when I say east, I'm talking from Messenger Reef all the way into Upper South Bay. And when those fish find those 2-inch perch in Upper South Bay, it's tough for them to leave, and it's tough for me not to go there. Weather permitting, I'll go there. There are days when the weather is my enemy and I need to fish close to the marina just for safety purposes, and then try to make happen whatever can happen. But east end of the lake in the fall has been like almost automatic every day once you're at 53 degrees. Lewis Point included.
Okay.
Great structure there. And it's a blade bait bite exclusively, I find, and blade baits and jigging wraps.
Okay. Now, how do you choose your fall spots? Do you look at it differently than in the spring when you're jigging, or is it really the same? As the water cools, it's warming in the spring and cooling in the fall. Do you look in the same areas, or do you have distinct fall spots that you look for?
In Upper South Bay, you have a 12-foot ridge, a 17-foot ridge, and a 22-foot ridge. And those ridges run from east to west. The fish will congregate down there on one or maybe a couple of those ridges. And when I say congregate, they are packed solid. You're never less than 5-6 fish on the screen constantly. So it's tough for me not to go there. That's my number one choice. When I can't make it there, then I look at structure in front of the marina. I look at structure at Larkin Point. I look at structure at Wilson Point, and I do the same thing. Shallow structure, intermediate structure, and then deep. Deep would be 30, 32 feet of water.
And that's when you're in that low 50-degree water temp.
From 53 degrees and lower, it's generally game on when you mark them. It's very rare to not get a good bite while you're marking fish. And I mean, it'll go just about all day long.
Okay. Now, right now, we're in that 63, 64. We're in the low 60s right now.
Right.
So for that next 10 degrees of water temp, depending on the weather, it could be a week, could be a month before we get back into that low 50s. Where do you start right now? Like, do you start shallow and look deep, or do you start deep and go shallow?
If I'm going to jig, I'm going to start out in the shallow environment to begin with, hoping that the night cruisers didn't have a good night and they're still in the shallow water. And if I can get my lures in front of them, I'll get that early morning bite for a period of an hour or so. And then after that, it's hunt, fish, hunt, fish, hunt, fish. By hunting, I mean spot to spot to spot, find marks, try what you can to catch them.
Graphing everything first, looking over your spot, making sure there's marks there, and then fishing it.
Exactly. I can't fish an empty screen. I've never been able to do that, and I never will do that.
And that's something we probably don't talk about enough with everybody. And I would say at this point in life, 99% of all the fishing boats that come out here have some sort of electronics on them. And you have to have faith in your electronics. That doesn't mean you can't say, I'm going to go fish this spot. It's a hump. I know there's fish there, or there usually is. We can always do that. But especially in any place open water, I mean, we're in a pretty good sized bay right here. And to know where they are just by memory would be, well, you could do that. But you still got to go find them and have the idea that you've got fish looking at your stuff before they're going to bite.
Right here we're at Messenger Reef, and we caught several walleyes on the north side of the reef, and I am now on the south side of the reef. We're at 24 feet of water, and if you were able to see the screen from here, I don't know what happened. There's a bundle right there, and they're just not in the mood right now. From what we're marking.
So somebody new out here to fall fishing on the boat. A bunch of guys, let's say, are watching, and they're gonna leave their boat in the water till Halloween time. Right now, in the next couple of weeks, what would your biggest tip be for somebody coming out new to fall walleye fishing?
Something right now that's still consistent is trolling the stick baits in that 38 to 43 feet of water north of buoy 113 and heading to the west towards the water tower in Cleveland. That's been holding fish quite regularly, and the catches have been fairly consistent there. So if you like that, that would be choice number one. If you like the jig, I would say get it done early, that first hour and a half, and then depend on the trolling bite for the rest of the effort. But let that temperature get down some more, at least get it into the high 50s, and you'll find that the jig bite will probably be a little more dependable than it is right now.
Eric, you're a big perch guy.
Love it.
Without saying a specific spot, what is your what water are you looking to start in to go see if you can find schooling perch to get on?
They're anywhere from 10 foot of water to 40 foot of water. Period. And anywhere in between.
Yep.
We fished on Sunday. We fished the slope on the north shore of the lake, 24 foot of water, and there's sporadic schools for that whole shoreline from Oneida down in the north end.
And you should be able to, honestly, you should be able to perch fish anywhere in this lake.
Yes.
You should be able to go find school to perch and get on them. You don't have to be east, west, north, south. I mean, you really should be able to, almost anywhere you go, find perch within a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah, we caught fish the weekend before in Upper South Bay in 10 foot of water, pretty consistent. They weren't there on Sunday.
Okay.
They were not there.
Now, in a situation where you're fishing those schooling perch that shallow, how are you finding them with your electronics? Are you
If you go slow enough, you can see them.
yeah,
If you go slow enough,
over the top of them or with side scan?
over the top of them.
Interesting. Okay.
12 foot of water. If you go slow and wide enough, you can see if they're scattered.
Okay. Well, everybody, there's two solid tips right there to get you through this next couple weeks before we start getting real cold temps. Air temps will bring cold water temps, obviously. Last week when we had a couple of those nights in the high 30s, low 40s, it dropped 10 degrees in a week and a half span. Now it's holding steady. We've got all this southern air influence and moisture from the hurricanes and the tropical storms, but now that looks like it's going to stay south of us. So here the next 4 or 5 days, we're going to be back into some cold nights. We're going to start losing temp. I mean, I would think we should be in the high 50s in the next, if things hold true, by Monday, really. So, all right. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. We had a great time this morning, and this video will be out in a week or so. And you can see exactly what we were catching fish on, what we were doing, how we were doing it. And this is just a recap for everybody that is going to say, hey, where's the second part of this video? It's coming, believe me. There's a little bit of a lag between filming it, doing all the post-production work, and then getting it back out. So just remember that. All right, I think that'll do it for us today, guys. I hope everybody had a great time following along, and we will see everybody tomorrow morning. Remember, tomorrow morning, Jim Carker, Mike Urema from I1 Baits. Jim's the gentleman that won the 1,000 subscriber giveaway. We're gonna have a great time tomorrow morning. We'll be on the water first light. He's coming in from where he lives in Rochester, and we're gonna go beat him up, and we're gonna jig the snot out of him again tomorrow, see what we can do. So thanks everybody for joining us. For Captain Tony Buffa, Don, and Eric up front, thank you. And as always, on three, guys. 1, 2, 3. Keep your tip up.